Today on the podcast, we're talking about how OpenAI may or may not be releasing an agent tool, which is actually really significant. And we're going to talk today about how you may be able to use this in the future and make money with it as well. But before we get into that, Jaeden, why don't you tell them about our school community?
Yeah, if you've ever wanted to start a side hustle or an online business where you're using AI tools to make money, or if you already have a business, a thriving company, and you want to scale it up using AI tools, we would love to have you as a member of our AI Hustle school community. Essentially, every single week, Jamie and I record exclusive content that we don't share anywhere else on how we're personally using AI tools to grow and scale our businesses, how we're making money with them. Jamie recently went over a program that helped him make $25,000 last year, an Amazon program, and how he's using AI this year to scale that up and make even more. I cover tons of different AI marketing growth hacks that I've used with getting free traffic from Quora, Pinterest, LinkedIn, using AI to do all of that, or even medium.com. So like tons of different things that we've used. We have dozens and dozens of videos, tons of courses on here that are, how to become an AI consultant in your industry, how I've used AI music to make money online, how to use AI to grow a podcast, all sorts of things. So anyways, if you're interested in making money online, we'd love to have you as a member of the AI Hustle School community. We have a January discount for the new year where it is $19 a month. In the past, we had this set at $100 a month. We have over 300 members. And if you've ever wanted to join, this is a great week. It's discounted to $19 a month. So we'd love to have you as a member. All right, let's get into what OpenAI is doing with their new agents. This is something so fascinating. So this is something we've been talking about for a long time. And I guess just before we kick this off, I love to ask you, Jamie, kind of what your opinion is, based off of what you currently use AI tools for and what the projects you're currently working on. What would be the most exciting or interesting agent use cases for you in your current kind of like workflow and the things that you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to have an agent that could, export videos for me, even, potentially edit for me. There's a lot of things that I do in systems I have that are pretty repetitive. So I feel like if I could have an AI tool, monitor what I'm doing and then take over and do those processes for me, I think that could save me a ton of time. So also like, as I edit a YouTube video, for example, I'd love to have a thumbnail ready to go, a title and description ready to go, all AI, all SEO optimized. And I still do those things using AI, ChatGPT, but I have to go in and manually type out what I want. Where having an agent basically take control of my desktop and do those things for me would be a huge time saver. So I'm interested to see how this works.
Yeah. So I agree. I think there's so many use cases. I want to go over some that I want to personally use. But before we do that, I wanted to cover some of the rumors. So the rumors are that this new agent tool is going to be coming out very soon. So many different ways for businesses, for the listeners to make money with this. So this is really exciting, or just speed up whatever your workflow is. What's interesting is how this leak came out, how we know. So essentially what this is going to be, it's an AI tool that will be able to take control of your computer and perform actions for you essentially. And I've talked to a bunch of different people, like developers I talk to, is they're saying like, look, I'm not just going to make this take control of my computer. I'm going to make what's called a VPN or a VPM, a virtual private machine. So you can imagine like you go to like a special website and you spin up like 10 different desktops. And on each of these desktops, you can have these AI agents doing different tasks on each of those desktops. You can kind of toggle between them. Maybe it's like every tab is like a different computer pretty much. So developers I'm talking to, they're thinking about it that way. They're like, I'm not just letting this thing take control of my computer. I'm making, a virtual one where I can let it take control of 10. Then I have like 10 different workers doing different things for me. So you can see this thing can scale up and get really exciting. It essentially takes control of your computer and does whatever you tell it to. Now, Anthropic has already demoed an interesting tool that can do some like preliminary basic stuff here. And OpenAI is allegedly going to come out with something really groundbreaking, but we didn't really know when. And now they're saying that this might be coming out soon. So Tibor Blaho, this is a software engineer. He has a reputation for accurately predicting a bunch of different leaks that are coming up in AI, not just from OpenAI, but other people. And he says that he's found some evidence that OpenAI, this whole rumored, they're calling it the operator tool. But he thinks he found some leaks for this. And so Bloomberg has, already reported a bit on this and said that it's going to be this agentic system that can do autonomous tasks like writing code or booking travel, right? Just doing different things for you. So according to the information, they are currently trying to slate this release to be in January. So we're not going to have to wait a very long time. It's already the 20th of January. So according to their article over on the information, this thing should be coming out very, very soon. And like I mentioned, Anthropic's already released something like this. Google is already working on some stuff that kind of falls into this as well. So this really is the next thing. And we know from OpenAI's roadmap that agents are the next step they want to take. So yeah, all of this I think is very, very exciting. Anyways, the way that they found this leak, I just want to go over this and I'll kick it over to you, Jamie. Sorry for talking so much. But the way they found this leak is that this developer, Tibor Blaho, he was looking through some of their code and he essentially found in their Mac OS, in their ChatGPT client Mac OS, and he found a bunch of different options in the code for the actual ChatGPT app. That, so there's an actual app you can download on Mac for ChatGPT, and it's hidden, but essentially it shows a shortcut to something called toggle operator. And then there's another thing that he found that said force quit operator, right? So this is pretty much referencing this agent thing and a way that you can force shut this thing down if you need to, and you can toggle this thing on and off. So anyways, I think this is really interesting. OpenAI has added references to operator on their website, but they're not yet publicly visible, but he's kind of digs through the code of the website to find this. So this is super, super fascinating. He went out and made a tweet about this and kind of shared looking through the code, the hidden code, what he was able to see there. So he's got this UI that clearly says toggle operator and force quit operator. So it seems like this thing is actually coming out pretty exciting. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of use cases for those of us who use AI, regularly to complete tasks. I'm basically picturing an AI agent replacing the virtual assistant. If there's a lot of repetitive type tasks that you currently hire a virtual assistant for, let's say in the Philippines or something, I feel like a lot of those basic tasks could be replicated by AI. So I think that maybe is what's coming on the horizon. I did see part of this article that said that on OS World, a benchmark that tries to mimic real computer environment, the OpenAI computer use agent, which is possibly this operator they're talking about, scores 38.1%. And then that's compared to the human's 72.4% score. So it is about apparently half as good as what a human could do. But I think there's still a lot of those, basic tasks that could be replicated by AI at this point. And again, this is just a starting point. I think, it won't be long before they can do just as much as a normal secretary or virtual assistant could do.
Yeah, these things are getting quite good. One thing I wanted to bring up that I thought was pretty funny was how he found those statistics that Jamie was just sharing. So he actually went to the ChatGPT website and was digging through. You could dig through the code on the site if you kind of pull up the side console, which maybe if you're not a developer, you've pulled this up on accident, but many people pull this up. You can use it to check errors on a page or whatever. Anyways, he's on the network tab and he went and kind of searched for the keyword operator and he's finding all these different things. And inside of this code this hidden code that he found on the ChatGPT website, it brings up these tables which are showing how it scored on OS World compared to Web Arena, compared to Web Voyager, how Claude scored on those, how Google Mariner scored on the Web Voyager. Anyway, so it's a whole bunch of different statistics comparing it to other models, which I thought was really interesting. That he was digging through the code essentially to do this. So some of the things the actual tasks that they gave it that were really interesting that you can also dig up is create a Bitcoin wallet, find an API key, open the OpenAI API proxy. Anyways, there's register for cloud provider online and start an A100 virtual machine. Anyways, all these different things that are super, super interesting. Sample from Mistral 7B locally, load a Docker image and launch a server, sample from Nano GPT locally. So anyways, it's they're like obviously getting this thing to actually do different things. They're showing it what it's capable of doing. They also were like saying what it will and won't do. So like the operator apparently, as far as if you ask it to do something illegal or uh, or exploitative, it has 100% refusal rate, which is good. And ChatGPT GPT-4o also has 100% refusal rate. It's good. It apparently will refuse extremism, propaganda, discussion of illicit activities, discussion of self-harm. When it comes to jailbreak, it's only 99%. So 1% of people were able to find jailbreaks, I guess, for this, which is interesting. Performing illicit activities is only 97%. So 3% of people. Searching for sensitive personal data, it will refuse to do it 100% of the time. Prohibited financial activities, 97%. Anyways, it looks like they've done a bunch of like safety testing on this. It's pretty good. I mean, the lowest we got was 97%. Anyways, I thought it was funny the way he actually found this was just like digging through the live code, but it's just like hidden on their actual website. So very, very interesting.
Do you think there's any like I'm trying to think of like a use case for someone who maybe doesn't use a virtual assistant currently? What could you see someone a normal person doing like day to day using a operator agent instead of just using ChatGPT?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the way that this operator agent is going to be super, super useful is when you find essentially tasks that you like a virtual assistant that you mentioned, like a task that you'd usually give a person to do, a very repetitive task, testing. Like I can imagine for me, I'm about to hire a bunch of virtual assistants to test my software platform, AI Box. We need to run it through the tests, see if there's any bugs or errors when we're doing a bunch of different things. And so we're actually going to hire like a bunch of virtual assistants from the Philippines to go through, and we're going to say, hey, use like all of the AI models on here, try to build these different things, try to run these different things. It's kind of like our last test before we launch. We want to get data on if there's any errors, if there's any bugs. And a lot of times you can run like computer software automations to do this kind of stuff. But a quick and dirty way to do it is just to hire people and literally tell them to use your product. So something like that would be perfect for a computer system like this, where it's just like, go and use this website and do all of these tasks that I give you and report any errors and put them into a spreadsheet in this format. Like that's essentially what I would hire a person to go do. But now this is able to go do that same thing. And if it runs into an error, screenshot, put it in a spreadsheet, good to go. So I think literally anything that you could task a person to do, like with my virtual assistants, a lot of times what I'll do is I'm like, hey, I need to write like a blog post every week for this business. This is how we write the blog posts. We go search on Google. We go grab like the top 10 articles. We paste them all into Anthropic. We tell it to summarize them and put them all together. We go and find like, 10 subject matter experts and grab a quote and include it into the article and blah, 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 right? We'll come up with the whole process and we give them exact prompts to do that process. Essentially, that whole operating manual that I would usually give a person, I'm just going to start giving to one of these agents and it will do the whole thing automatically for me. Log into the website, post the blog post. Maybe I have an agent that goes and reviews it for grammar and make sure that it sounds good and that looks like it's going to do well as far as traction. I think this is going to be fascinating. And I do have one prediction of what will be very useful for these in the future. But first, I guess, so I guess I'll just give you my prediction. So my prediction is Claude is doing this. Google allegedly is working on this. OpenAI now is going to come up with this. My prediction, though, is that someone will build a tool, and maybe I'll have a version of AI Box that can do some of this, but someone will build a tool, inevitably, that will allow you to create an agent or run these agent tasks, but using different AI models to do different things, right? Because like sometimes like I love OpenAI for a lot of things, but like when I want a really good tone on an article or a social media post, I'm going to go with Anthropic's Claude. I just think its tone is better for like writing. When I want to do math, like I'm definitely going to use O1 on ChatGPT because it's like the best at math. So like all of them have different strengths and weaknesses, even when you get to the video and audio and image models. And so I think someone's going to create an AI agent tool. There'll probably be tons of them actually, that allow you to tap into different AI models and get different AI models to do different parts of your workflow. So I think that'll be very interesting. And it's not just going to be OpenAI and Anthropic that like run away with the agent game.
Yeah, no, I love that idea. There's definitely, like you said, lots of different tools, and some of them are better than others. So if you have a workflow you're trying to simplify, this would be excellent for basically copying those motions. So love that. Anyways, if you got any value out of this podcast episode, please leave us a review. We love to read those and get your feedback. And also check out our school community, because that's where we get into the nitty gritty details of how you can make money online with AI. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.